everyone. I'm Anne Hein, one of the Janome educators, and today I'm going to talk to you about our Artistic Digitizer software. But what I'm most excited about is the offer that Janome has on the software. They're letting you use the software for a month till the end of May for free, so you can give it a tryout. There'll be a link on this page for you to go to fill out the form for that. And we also started a new Facebook page just for Artistic Digitizer, and it's called Janome Artistic Digitizer. And I'll be doing some live presentations there, and I can answer questions over there, and we'll be posting some other videos and things on that same page. So be sure to check that out. That's Janome Artistic Digitizer. Once you go ahead and fill out your form. So also, let us know where you're coming from, where you're watching from. I'm from little Delaware, and we just had a thunderstorm go through, so now we've got some nice bright sun. Hopefully it's passed, so I don't have to worry about that. Hopefully there's no more thunder. And I want to do one more announcement. Is some of our dealers are doing call-in and curbside delivery, so if you're short on items, need some thread or stabilizer or anything else, just give them a call and then you can drive by and pick that up. Even machines, they're even doing machines. So let me show you some of the things you can do with the software. I have my samples out, and then I'm going to open up the software and let you take a look at how it is and how you can do a few things in there. So come on back this way. So the first one I'm going to show you is a jacket back. This is something in the program called paint stitch. And you take your artwork and you can turn it into this thread work of art. And so I took these letters, converted them to paint stitch, and then I merged them together. This one here, and there are some videos out on paint stitch already. This one here, there are buttonholes in the program, and I took the buttonhole and I made a custom design around it. So I have a custom buttonhole and added it to the placket on this jacket. This is out there too. There's a nice video on Janome YouTube for that. And the last one here, this is my beehive design. And with this design, I took the beehive that's in the Janome Memorycraft 15,000 and I stitched it on my jacket. And once I had it on there, I realized it was too rectangular. So I used a tool in the software called the knife feature, and I cut sections, copied them and cut sections off and moved them up here, and I put some down there to really fill it out more. And then I added the bees on top of that. So I have a few more things. So one of the things I love to do with the software is make little zipper pouches. So I have a couple of different ones here, and they're so much fun. I designed these in the software. So they are my designs. You can do it too in the software. So I have a lot of different ones here, different shapes, things like that. Here's another paint stitch. This is Goldie the gopher from the University of Minnesota. And I have the photograph here, and then here is the paint stitch of it so you can see the thread work. Isn't that beautiful? I just love that. I just love that. So what else you can do with the software is back here I have my wine bag. You can do crystal designs, and you can make templates for doing glass etching. I have a few other paint stitches there. This little guy right here, this is one of those little squirt bottles. This video just came out. I think they posted it to the Facebook page. I show you how to use your cutter along with the software. So that's the great thing about this software. You can use it with many of your machines. You can use it with your cutter also. And I did a little sewing machine on the back side, and I did put my name on the top because I don't want anybody taking my little Janome bottle. This is a little guy I did, my minion. I did him in the hoop, so you can make in the hoop stuffies all your own. Of course, you can do lettering in there, make an applique. Now remember when Miriam showed you her beautiful seahorse? Well, I did the little hippo, and I designed the fabric for my hippo in the software, and then I stitched it out and cut it into the pieces for my cute little dancing hippo. There we go. And then I have a few more things here. I really want to show you this pillow. Now, it's hard to see because of the way I did the colors on it, but around the heart, this is the ambiance quilting. So within Artistic Digitizer, you can add quilting to your designs. So this is the scroll work one around here. I also created the applique in there, and I'm going to show you how to do an applique today. And I added this decorative satin stitch and a decorative stitch around my pillow. But what's really cool is on the back side, I created this fabric using a couple of different tools. This little design right in here, my XO, I call it X's and O's, that came from Stitch Composer. So some of you have Stitch Composer. You received it with your 15,000, your M7, 9450, 9400, and in that you can create decorative stitches to use on the sewing side of your machine. But I was also able to bring it into Artistic Digitizer and use it here so I could create this large piece of fabric. I also used it right here on my binding or my piping for my pillow. Can't get enough of those X's and O's. All right, the last thing I want to show is my little COVID-19 guy. Let's stop COVID-19. How about that? Stay home, stay in. He's actually a graphic that I found out there on the web. I brought him in, converted him to stitches, added my lettering, and now I have a cute little banner. I'm going to show you how to do that today too. We're going to play with this one a little bit. So I'm going to put him down over here. Now I have to pick the camera up from my camera person and put it in where my setup is over here. So hopefully I won't make anybody sick as I move it around. Thanks, Mitzi, for liking my pillow. So here's my setup today. I'm going to show you. I have a little stand that my iPad's going to go on. There's my laptop that I'm going to work from. Now I know I can do this a different way, but today we're going to do it this way. And then when I do my other ones, I think I'm going to do it for another way. And I see they're posting the link to get the free trial of the software. So when you open your software, this is what it looks like. So you'll have ways over here to get in. You'll have your machines here, anything you've worked on recently in the middle. And then you have the tutorials over here. So there's over 65 tutorials that are in the program that you can watch. They're also on YouTube, so you can see them on YouTube. And thanks, Michael. All right, so when you're using the software, what I like is right here, this software can be used with many different machines, and you can see the different companies here that you can use it with. And then within the company, you have the different machines for each company. So I'm going to stay on the 15,000, and I'm using the GR hoop as my default hoop. So I'm going to close this. So whenever I go into the program now, I'll always have the GR hoop, but I can easily change it in the program. So it's not that hard to go ahead and change it. What I really like about it, besides coming in here and starting from scratch, I like the browse feature down here. Now what's great about that is I can collect things off my computer. If I have a USB stick in my computer, I can go to that. If I have my machine connected to by Wi-Fi to my computer, I can see what's on my Wi-Fi enabled machine. And if there's a USB stick, imagine this, if there's a USB stick in that machine, I can access it too. And then over here is the cloud. So if you have things on the cloud, you can get it. And yes, it is taking 48 hours to get your code. There is a high demand. We love that so many people want to try this out. So we're very excited about that. So just have a tiny little bit of patience as we get that taken care of. I'm going to go ahead and open Browse because I want to show you a few things in Browse. In Browse, you can make a favorites list. So in my Browse, I have my folder with all my embroidery designs that I can reach. I have some that I work right from my desktop with. And when you open them, this little watermelon picnic, this is what you would look at, and you can pick your designs right from there. So today, I wanted to show you how I made my, my little COVID-19 guy. So I have it set up in here, and I'm going to open it here so you can see what I've been working on. I already saved the PNG. So what I did is I'm going to open my browser so you can see. We'll go to that one next. So I went out on the web and I found my guy. And once I get him, I can right click. Now you want to make sure you have copyright free designs that you're going from. And when you right click, you can copy it. You can save your picture. You can take it into Paint if you wanted to make it smaller, or to work with it that way if you wanted to. So it's very easy to grab off the internet your free designs that you're looking for. So I did that already, and I have him right here. So I'm going to go ahead and select him. And when I do that, it opens the image window. So when I open the image window, I have several choices here. Paint stitches there too. I talked about that earlier. And then right here is auto digitize. So I'm going to click that, and I can see how big my guy is right here. And I'm going to touch OK. I could scale my image if I needed it larger. At this point, I could scale it larger. I'm going to leave it where it's at. And my color limit, this one has 5 colors in it. It has the white, the red, the green, and then it has or maybe 4, let's see, white, red, green, and then the turquoise. So I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to put 5 in here and trace. All right, here we go. So I'm trying to look at the questions too as I'm going along, and sometimes I'm not good at doing. From browse, is it possible to access the built-in designs? Let me think. If you save them, I'd have to double check on that. If you save them in the machine into a folder, you can access them that way. I don't think you can get to the designs otherwise. So look at that. There's my guy. I'm going to come in a little closer so you can see him. Now he's not bad for a first, here it is. And I do apologize if it is a little blurry where the words are. I'm taking a video of my monitor, so it's a little bit blurry. I have some other software I'm going to test out so I can get a clearer picture. So we'll go from there and see how that works. So once I have him, I'll want to remove some of it. I do not want this background. So I can click on the pieces of the background and then just hit delete on my computer. And I'm going to come up here and delete here. Sometimes when you go to do that, your whole piece is connected and you'd have to do ungroup, which is easy to do. So I'm going to delete this part right here. And then he does have a little bit down in here, so I can delete that. This little spot up here I can delete, and whoops, not that red part up here. Now there's other ways to grab these parts and delete them, but I'm just going around deleting like this. All right, I do have behind this, I'm going to move it so you can see, my graphic is still back there. So I can remove my graphic. Sometimes it gets in my way. I'm going to come up here to View, and under View, I can go to Backdrop and Hidden. So far, not too hard, right? Everybody seeing that? All right, let's see what's going on here if anybody has any comments. Yes, in Browse, in Browse, you would travel to your master folder. This is from Juliana. Hopefully I said that correctly. You can contact you through your Browse feature. You would navigate into your computer, find your master folder, and then you could through Artistic Digitizer load it into your favorites. It still stays wherever it is on your computer. It's just a link in your Artistic Digitizer. So it'd be very easy to find that. Or some people have their designs on a separate an auxiliary CD or a hard drive on the side. So you can actually find your hard drive and use it off your hard drive too. So that's easy too if you have a remote hard drive. All right, so there's my guy. Once I had him here, I decided I wanted to change some of this red part around here. On mine, I turned this into a satin, and I selected it, and over here in my properties, I touch satin, and I made a nice satin stitch there. I can come in a little closer so you can see it. I just clicked in the different areas. This is already a satin. Down here was the satin already, and so was this. So now if there's any parts, if I didn't like how that satin is, I could use a feature over here called Stitch Flow. I'm going to show you Stitch Flow on my green guy up here. So when I select him, he's what's called a step fill. And with step fill, I can pick a pattern. So I think I'm going to go with hexagon 2. And there's my little hexagon 2. And I have to actually change his other foot down here. So let's go get that one. He's actually a satin, so I got to turn that into a step and go get my hexagon 2. There we go. All right, let's see what else people are saying really quick. Total attention, thank you. Hi, Amy. Hi, Kim. Nice to see everybody. All right. Oh, a lot of people are watching. How nice. All right, so, you know, I don't always like to leave it just the way it is, so I'm going to show you Stitch Flow. With Stitch Flow, I can change the direction of my stitches. So I'm going to click and drag across, and now my stitches are kind of going in a little bit different direction. They're more hexagon shaped, and I could do the same with his foot. Let's see, I'll select his foot though. Here we go. And Stitch Flow. There we have it. So basically that part's done. Phew, that wasn't too hard, was it? I think my clicking finger's tired. All right, now if I want to put him back in the middle of the hoop, I can come right up here to my 15,000 tab. Now, if you picked your machine name would be right up here. And here's the different things that I can use under this tab. I can send it to my machine by Wi-Fi. I can put it to a USB. I can change machines if I want to, or center to hoop. So easily I centered that to my hoop. Now I also want to rotate my hoop because my design was sort of large. And to rotate my hoop, I can click on my hoop icon on the left and click over on my GR hoop in the top right. Now my hoop is blue, and right up here in this window I can put 90, and my hoop is now, and then select, my hoop is now in a different direction, which is nice. Now I might make my guy a little bit bigger. I can just stretch them up here. It will recalculate those stitches for me. They change down in here, so you can see that. Now I had lettering around here, so let me show you how easy it is to do the lettering part of it on here. To talk about too wide of a satin stitch, please. Yes, my satin stitch might be a little bit wide on this one here. I would go and measure that. This is a wall hanging, so it's not going to be it's not on clothing. So on clothing, you want a shorter stitch so you're not going to get caught in it. But for this exercise, I'm leaving it just as it is. We'll be talking about that more in the videos that I do. All right, so now to lettering. I'm going to go to text. And right up here in the text box is where I can type in what I want to put around it. So I had, let's stop, let's see, oops, backspace there, I can't spell today. COVID-19, there we go. All right, now, it's using this font that I have up here. These fonts here, and I clicked in there, these are the pre-digitized fonts, but you can also use your TrueType fonts or any fonts that you download into here. So when I click there, again, I can go through and my letters change as I'm going through here. So I can just pick whatever one I want. So let's see, I like this font here, so I'm going to stay with this one. I'm going to hit my, well, before I do that, I had mine in a curve here, so I'm going to come in here to placement, and I'm going to do on arc, and I want it centered on my arc, so I'm going to come up here to text alignment and center it. So there, very easy on that part of it. Let's see if there's any more questions I can answer. Let's see. Putting more than one design, yes. Like a number and a cupcake. Well, that's what I'm doing here. I'm putting my design and my lettering together. So that, I think that answers that. And you could call it merging designs. I mean, you could just, I could bring in a third design if I want to. It doesn't have to be lettering. So now that I have my lettering, I can bring it around my design and I can change this arc. Maybe I want it really tight like this. Sometimes that looks nice, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe you just want it out a little bit. If I want to change my font at this point, I can just come up here, click in there, double click, and then you can change your font this way. And you can see how it looks on the curve. How easy is that? I'm kind of liking this. I don't know which one I like better. So there we go. And if you made a mistake in spelling, you could just put your cursor up here and fix it, which I think is really nice. So that's that part. Now at the bottom, I put, what did I put on the bottom? I put stay home. Oops, let's go back to lettering, that helps. Here we go. See, stay home, stay in. There we go. Now again, I can pick a new font for this too. Maybe I want two different fonts. There we go. We'll go with, let's go way down. Let's find something kind of more interesting than that. Ooh, there we go. All right, and then I'm going to select it and I can just move it into place. There's my design and it's ready to go. I hope, Lynette, that answered your question about adding more designs on there. Let's see what else is there. Let's see, situation is here. Can you make yes, you can make SVG files. Those are some cut files that you can do. Yes. All right. Perfect. Someone else has the software and they're learning how to use it. That's great. And Jerry likes how I say oops. Yeah, I do it really real when I'm doing my things. I'm, you know, I can be tongue-tied or whatever. I'm human like the rest of you. All right, so that's my first one I want to show you. I do want to show you a little design that I stitched. From the office, they sent me a drawing of the M7. And I did some of this with Auto Digitize, and some of it I did with actually putting in stitches and working with the stitches in the nodes. So here's the drawing that I had, and there's my rendition of it right here. So it was a lot of fun to do that. So I did a little both of putting in stitch by stitch and also using the Auto Digitize on here too. Yeah, and there are no dumb questions. You know, ask away of that hoop. How will that work when you go to stitch? When I change direction, that's how it will save to the hoop in that direction. So it will be sideways in the hoop. Okay. All right. You can assign colors in here too. I can definitely change colors. I'm going to show that in my next one. So let me put this picture down. Now the next thing I wanted to show you was how to make an applique. So thanks, Kim. Kim really likes that. All right. So I'm going to go back to my browser and my favorites. I'm going to go to my desktop, and then I have a folder here. And I'm going to go to my Delaware. Now, Kelly, one of our other educators, asked me if I could make an applique for her, and I said, oh, sure. And Emily, yes, Emily from the Janome staff drew the picture of the machine. It really came out nice. I've stitched it small, and then I stitched it really large on a start of a tote bag. And all right, so Kelly, anyways, back to that. Kelly asked me if I could do an applique of this new state she's living in, because she has pillows with the states she's lived in. And I thought, well, heck, I can do that. So I decided I would start with Delaware. And I do have my outline here of my Delaware. And just like my other one, I can double click on this. It's going to bring it in, and I'll go Auto Digitize. And I like the size there. That's pretty good. I'm going to do OK. Accuracy is fine at 5, and it's 2 for my color limit. So let me just double check here and see. Uh-oh, there we go. I hope I didn't lose you guys. I had a little blip there on my computer. So now I'm going to go to Trace, and there's my Delaware. I'm going to go ahead and click on that part of it. I can tell by looking in my color manager down here that my design is not all selected, so I can delete. I can use my delete key to delete this, or I can come down here and delete it by clicking this X. So it deleted the outside. I'm going to delete the other part of this, leaving my the black inside part. And I'm getting a little pause every so often. I hope that's okay. All right, and I'm gonna take my background away, going to View, Backdrop, and Hidden. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to turn this into an applique. So this is really easy, really, really easy. I have my piece selected, and I'm going to change color of it first. I'm going to come in here, and I'm just going to make it this peachy color so we can see it better. Go back to my properties. If you've lost your colors, you can click at the top here, right click, and you'll see colors, and they'll come back. All right, once I get there, it's selected. I can go to Applique. And then once I go to Applique, I'm going to scoot in here real close so you can see, because it defaults to what's called the E-stitch or blanket stitch. And then over on the right, I can decide what I want to do. If I want satin or zigzag, maybe I want satin today, so I'm going to select satin. And then right here, fabric trim. I can choose how I want to apply the fabric in my applique. I love this because if I have digital cutter and I want to cut it, I can select pre-cut and it will generate the cut file for me, which I can send to my cutter, and then I can cut it on my cutter. How cool is that? That's pretty cool. And then I can cut it during embroidery or after embroidery. So I'm going to do during embroidery. So that means it's going to give me a placement, and then I'll put my fabric down and it'll stitch the fabric in. I'll be able to cut it, and then it'll do the finishing on that. If I needed to change the width of my satin or direction of my stitches, I can do all of that. I can change my underlay. All those things can be done. But I'm going to show you what it looks like when it stitches. So let me bring this down here. Let's see if there's any. Okay. All right. So there's my whole piece. I'm going to take it into slow redraw. Now in slow redraw, we can watch it stitch. It looks like it's all one color, but I'm going to show you what it looks like on my computer, on my sewing machine screen in just a moment. So when it starts stitching, it's going to come around, and at the top here, it's going to make a little bump out. Did you see that where it bumped out? Right up here? That's where it stopped, so you could place your fabric. Now it's going to go around. I'm going to move it along so it goes a little bit faster. It's tacking down your fabric. It's going to jump out again. It jumped out. Oops. It jumped out. I trimmed my fabric, and now it's going to do the final stitching. There we go. So it's going to stitch around. It's doing the underlay and then the satin stitch, and it's done. So let me show you what that looks like on the screen of my sewing machine. So here's what it looks like on your machine. So the first one, this is your placement. And then after your placement, you'll put your it does the stitch, you put your fabric down, it's going to stitch again, and then you'll cut, and then it's going to do what they call the tack down, but it's the finishing stitch for it. So it's three colors. See how it breaks it into 3 spots? That's exactly what you want for an applique. Isn't that cool? So easy. Now I can stitch this out and put it on a pillow. I can add lettering to it and put home on there, whatever I want. So very, very easy. All right. So that's all I was going to show you for today. Be sure to check out our other Janome page, the Janome Artistic Digitizer page. I'll be posting things there, answering questions. They're going to be putting some of the videos I've done before up there, so you'll be able to check those out and try them. And I'll do a couple live things from that too. So hopefully everybody enjoyed. Any last questions before I sign off? I hope I didn't put everybody to sleep. Oh, you're welcome, Doris. I love doing this. Yes, I do have more videos I'm doing on Digitizer. I've been working on those. And then I send them to the office and they make them look even prettier and then they put them out. Well, thank you for that. Thank you, Katie. All right. Thank you, everybody. All right. So I will see you all on the other Facebook page, if not on this one. And have a great day, everyone, and stay safe.